Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Ted here with BodiesXWix, and just wanted to give you a quick rundown on some things. First of all, I wanted to take a look at good old Bitcoin here. Um, as you can see, it has came down and smacked that level that I had predicted, 15,825. As you can see, 15,825 over here. And if we really want to get down to it, I can show you exactly where I called that and how I called it and why I called it. Okay, so it has to do with smart money, right? And smart money is that we do not trust exactly um, what the institutions tell us, right? What the charts tell us. We got to think about things for a second. We got to think, something may seem kind of odd here. I wonder if that has anything to do with X or Y or whatever it is. And then we kind of have to put our own analysis spin on it. So that's what we're doing here. That's what I did on um, the, if I can find it anyway, um, the Bitcoin. There we go. Last short pivot to bullishness near 1825. Now, after seeing what's going on, I don't know if it's really near the last bull. I mean, to me, it was at least going to be one of the last points that were hit, or at least one of the first of the last points that were hit, if that makes any sense. Okay. Um, and the reason being is this has to do with a uh, um, monthly fair value gap that was created back in January of 2000 or 2020. Yeah, 2020. And basically, what I mean by that is that in the month of, I think it was the month of 2020. Yeah, that sounds right. 2020. Month of January is that it grew so much is that there was no wicks on hardly either side that it left a very big fair value gap. Well, price is always attracted to imbalances. Well, that whether that be fair value gap, liquidity void, actual gap, price is going to want to come back to those areas, no matter if they get to 70,000 or not. So it got to as high as it could, as high as it wanted to, but then again, it needed to find those imbalances and fill them. And especially whenever this happened, I think in the February, the month after, whenever Tesla announced that they were going to be holding so many Bitcoin in their reserves, and it took off. I was just like, especially from going through my mentorship, everybody was freaking out. They're thinking, God, they're praying to Jesus and whatnot. And I'm sitting there thinking, you guys, you know that price wants to come back and revisit any kind of gap that is created, right? So if there's a gap on the daily, don't be surprised when in 3 or 4 months from now, if it hasn't come back and hit that, then it's gonna come back and hit that. And sure enough, what did it do? It came back and hit that probably a couple months later. It was a whole roller coaster. I think the institutions got a hold of price that year, and we're never going to see the small person have the leg up, as we used to on crypto. That being said, now you have to trade as if you would, um, like where you were in forex or you were in the equities market, things like that. Why? Because large institutions have a huge grip on these. I think I threw out statistics the other day, or I found it 74% of all institutions are bullish on crypto, meaning that they're still holding. Um, they're not dumb. If anything, they may be selling large chunks and then shorting at the same time to try to earn more money, and then they'll buy back up. But that may be about it. That's all I can really see from these guys like this. me see here. But this was my prediction here on Bitcoin. You know, if we go to the top here, you can see Bitcoin last short before pivot to bullishness 15,825. Would it get down to 822 or something like that? Or I think that was the exact middle of the monthly fair value gap. So if we take a look at this, again, this is probably the third or fourth time I'm going over this, is because it's one I've gotten correct, and it's one I believe everybody else can follow along with and understand exactly why and how smart money exists, right? So again, smart money is there to uh, one, make sure that price is always continuously trying to look to fill imbalances. Two, price is always trying to look to fill or attack liquidity. That is number two. Now, both are not mutually exclusive. They both can be this. You know, there can be a fair value gap right at the bottom of a manufactured liquidity area. So just don't think that just because there's one, there's not the other. Now, there's a lot more vocabulary and stuff like that that goes in with this. And if you would like, please reach out to me. I wanted to know if there are people that are interested in this. I was personally mentored by somebody, and who taught me all this, and we learned it in Forex. We didn't learn it in crypto. So I didn't think, and he kept saying that it was going to work in every single market. I didn't think it would work in crypto because I thought, maybe crypto had a different algorithm, maybe crypto had different this, maybe it had a different that. No, it works the same. It works the freaking same. So once I found that out, I was really impressed by his work, by his dedication to the market, and I felt like I should do the same. So, therefore, if you are somebody that wants to learn how to read this price action, how to understand it, how to put it into your own charts that you want to look at, I can definitely help you out with that. All right, so what we're looking at here, this is a very, very large Bitcoin here, right? So that's when it was ran up. It came back down that summer, I remember, and it reached back up, and then that's when it reached the all-time high, came back down, and then here we are now. So the question is, why are we all the way down here and we not way, way, way up there? Again, monthly fair value gap. All right, so if you can see this right in the middle of my screen, it says monthly fair value gap not entered. Well, it has been entered now. All right. What do I mean by monthly fair value gap, you ask? If you haven't seen my videos, you don't know this. If you have, I'm sorry, you have to go through this again. I'm trying to reach out to the new people that really, really need this in their lives. If anything, this could be a refresher for everybody that has been following me and understanding what smart money is. And thank you for being patient and doing such. But however, let's see here. Here it is. So you have this month right here. I'm on the monthly chart right now. It is November of 2020. That is my fault. I thought it was January. A little bit later, but November 2020 is when you have this run, right? And then, where was that? I think it was right here. Is this the February one? May. Where's the February one? March. Can't remember exactly which one it was. But I mean, just look how high that stuff was then compared to what it is now. Isn't that crazy? or how low that was, I should say. Once it got up to about right around here, around the 10,000 mark, and it broke that, that's when things started to reel in. But either way, what I did is, you know, anytime there was a fair value gap, anytime there was a wick, between a 3 candle succession, 1, 2, 3, and then you had from one candle to the next candle, if they did not balance out in touch by touching wicks on both sides, that's considered a fair value gap. Now, price will want to come back and revisit that area and make sure it rebalances, right? And look, you can see by here, boom, dumps in, pulls back out, jumps all the way down to the bottom. This one actually is interesting because it actually hits the top of the one that we're currently in, and then boom, bumps back out, and then gives it about halfway up, right? Comes back down, and then now we've been kind of consolidating, and then it dropped again, and that's how I knew we were going to get to this point, because halfway between this fair value gap was exactly what I called that 15,825. I mean, exactly. And yeah, there may be some other monthly fair value gaps, but the thing is that, this one right here has a full candle that is monthly candle, I should say, going bullish and bearish. So therefore, this Asian candle, get that straight across, I don't think it's going to get down below into that. If it does, it could just barely touch the monthly fair value gap before it jumps out again. But technically, all it has to do is touch about halfway, right? And then, now that we're about halfway toward the end of the month, we may see it reach back out and it come back down in December, and then it come back up. And the thing with these becoming what we call mitigated is once the price fills these monthly fair value gaps on either side, right? Both price direction moving down, both price direction moving up, right? Once it corrects them on both sides, then that is when it is mitigated, and we should not see rollers or a fight for price, which way direction is going to go from there. So once it hits this price, you pull up, December down, but then December should be primarily a green candle, and then once January hits, we'll hit the first quarter of next year. And as you can see, we did have the fair value gap here coming down, right, of this gap. We haven't came back up through it yet. So yes, it's going to want to come back up through this fair value gap, nearing the top of about 27,700, right? Because it only came down through it. It hasn't came all the way up to it, even though it has bounced, right? That doesn't mean anything. That just means it has balanced, right? That means it's not going to try to come back more and try to do anything stupid. But now for it to completely close off, that's a completely different story, and it's going to want to come up this way. And then we will see what happens after that. But as far as it actually getting lower and wanting to get down this area, I don't think it's going to want to get down to these big monthly candles. It's just way too low. I think institutions will scare people if they try to sell too low. They'll get everybody to jump out of Bitcoin, and they won't be able to take anybody's money if they keep prices too low. So they're going to want to keep them low enough to where they can accumulate quite a bit of dollars, in which we all should be doing. But I would just say be careful and watch for it. I would say the lowest it probably would be the actual entire fair value gap, which would be about 14,100. I don't see it getting lower than that, really. Maybe a spike through, but nothing major. And then a slow but sure jump, rise on the way back up. We do have this monthly fair value gap here, right? So in between 32 and about 37, right? fine. We'll have a bear shorter block somewhere around that 30 cent mark. And yeah, okay, yeah, look good. But yeah, that's exactly how I called that. That monthly value gap is how I called that price bottom is because of that monthly value gap. This, I'm telling you guys, this is the only way to learn and understand what how price action works is through smart money. It does everything else doesn't make sense. I don't care who you are, how many times you've tried, you know, you, you've traded against a trend line or some crap like that. And how many times you've done it? Guess what? It's probably went through your trend line at least 3 or 4 times, and probably went down the opposite way pretty hard and taken you out, right? Right. You guys have probably found some little tricks and things like that here and there, but guess what? Those are things that I can probably explain via smart money to you in no time, because they have a narrative, because they have a reason to do that, because the people that are controlling the charts are wanting you to think something else, right? So let me explain to you. If you find something, bring it up to my attention. I can get you in. You can go to my website, sign up for the if you want to the mentorship classes that I'm trying to start myself. If you just want to do one-on-one talks, training, something like that for a couple weeks or something like that, I can do that too. But the thing is that I want people to succeed. That's what I want people to do. And it's hard to see people succeed whenever they don't, whenever they're scared to reach out, whenever they don't want to admit that they're wrong. And I get it. I do, because my first couple, well, basically my first year, I thought I was the man, and I thought I was be able to trade, and turned out I just lost a lot of money is all I did. And then I found the right person. I found the right mentor, and everything, I mean, everything turned around for me. So I challenge you guys. I invite you guys to please, please, please reach out to me. We can get this smart money thing going that way. And okay, and here's the other big question. Well, what if they find out that we all trade the same? Who cares? That doesn't matter, because there's always gonna be new people, right? The basically how the cycle goes is that traders come in every 4 years. It's usually about a 4-year cycle, right? When people don't make money after the first year, they generally bow out, right? The people that are really, really adamant about it stick with it, and they will find something that makes them